Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Telltale's adventure series, The Walking Dead. So this is an episodic adventure series based on the zombie property of The Walking Dead. Not so much the TV show. In fact, I'm only really familiar with the TV show. I haven't read the graphic novels myself, but this has a tangential relation to that, maybe. From what I've heard, it's based more on the comics than the series, which is perhaps not as canonical. So this is more, you know, in line with what you would find in the comics, at least as far as I know. Take that as hearsay, please. Hearsay, not heresy. Anyway, this is the first episode. It just came out on Steam, XBLA, and PSN last week. It's supposedly coming to iOS devices a month later, and there's going to be 5 episodes of this. So the first one came out in April, and then there's going to be one in May, June, July, August, etc., etc. Now, just a brief note before we get into this. This is an adventure game, but it's not so much a point-and-click adventure game, really. It's more almost like a Heavy Rain or a Fahrenheit type game. There's not really that much in the way of puzzles. It's more like an interactive story. So I don't want to show you too much here because the story is really the draw, and it's actually quite good. I've actually played through the entirety of the episode myself, the first episode. I'm playing it on the PC right now. So I don't want to spoil too much because the story is really where you're going to get your money's worth with this game. But I do want to show off some of the gameplay so you guys can see if it's for you. Like, I really wanted to show off this game once I found out it was actually kind of pretty good, because I understand that people are pretty skeptical about Telltale recently, because, you know, not everyone was a big fan of the Back to the Future games, which I did not play, and almost nobody was a fan of Jurassic Park, which was apparently, you know, the hot pile of dog shit. But anyway, we're gonna get started here. I'm playing this, like I said, on the PC, and I'm using the Xbox 360 controller. Proud to report it works 100% fine. Like I said, this is not really a point-and-click adventure game. So there is my completed episode, but I'm going to start a new one here. We're going to start from the very beginning. Again, I don't want to show off too much here. Now, there's a display style. What we can do is play standard, which is what I'm going to do for this Let's Look At, which will kind of display hints about where to look within your environment. And it will also say things like you can see on the top there, Glenn will remember you lied. Things like this kind of clue you into how characters are reacting to your dialogue. And there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and your relationships with these characters that you come across really shapes how the story progresses. But we could also do minimal and turn all this shit off, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go standard. And we will start from episode 1, because obviously I cannot go to any of these later episodes yet. I'm not sure if this is spoilerish at all, but anyway, we will go back to our episode 1 here. And I can't remember if we start with a cutscene, but we do start with a fairly substantial dialogue. This takes place just before, you know, the shit really hits the fan as far as the zombie apocalypse is concerned. If you're not familiar with The Walking Dead, basically, zombie apocalypse takes place largely in Atlanta and the surrounding Georgian area. And, yeah, pretty dark. Not your standard, like, well, not standard, I suppose. Let's put it this way. It's not Shaun of the Dead. Nothing against Shaun of the Dead, probably my favorite zombie movie ever, but it's definitely more of a mature, grim look at what happens in a zombie apocalypse. So we're going to start with some dialogue here, and we are going to meet our character under kind of mysterious circumstances. This is our main protagonist right here. Sean Vanneman, the guy in the back of this police cruiser. And as we get started, we will get to make a little bit of dialogue. And it's funny, like, not funny, but it's interesting that the dialogue choices you make really do, like, shift the way that the game progresses as you move along.
Well, I reckon you didn't do it then.
Oh, they want me to use the PC, but I don't want to use it.
What they say about reckoning.
No, I don't, but I reckon it's a lot like assuming.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, I've driven a bunch of fellas down to this prison. Lord knows how many. Usually it's about now I get the I didn't do it.
Alright, so we also have this timer at the bottom that is kind of unique because we have to react very quickly. So let's start with not with me.
Not for me.
Because guys in your position already said it enough.
I'm going to kind of try to be a dick because in my first playthrough I was a nice guy. I want to see how things change. So we can use the right stick to take a look around here. This is like our aiming reticle, basically. We can take a look out the window, but what I think we really want to do is look out the rear view mirror here.
I followed your case a little bit, you being a making boy and all.
Let's go with, again, the dick opinion. So you've got an opinion.
You've got an opinion then?
Wouldn't say that. I go in for that innocent till proven guilty thing, even considering who they say you killed.
So we've learned that we are apparently wanted for murder, or not wanted, convicted of murder, because we're going to jail.
Seem important to you?
All of it, but that box never shuts up. Sit in this seat and pay too much attention and you'll drive yourself crazy. I got a nephew up at UGA. You teach there long?
Going on my 6th year.
You meet your wife in Athens?
Ouch.
You want to know how I see it?
Not really, buddy.
Not really.
Too bad. My car. You might have the right to remain silent, but it don't mean I gotta be.
Well, let's say something then. Alright,
Regardless.
I'm just going to pause it briefly to talk about what goes on in the game, because he is not going to shut up, and I don't necessarily want him to. So basically, we're moving our view around with the right analog stick, and then we'll pick up like contextual clues in the car or in our surrounding environment, and we'll be able to interact with those in one way or another. Now, I've already noticed that when I played through this for the first time, and playing through it now by making the more, I guess, asshole-ish dialogue choices, it is branching a little bit, but there are more major choices that you come across in the game. And the game actually, like, quantifies those choices, sort of, and there's definitely, let's put it this way, there will be situations where you'll have a difficult choice, and you'll have to choose one or two difficult options, one of two difficult options, I should say, and the decision you make does kind of branch out your story a bit, at least as far as I understand. And it's cool because at the end of the game, you get to see, like, what choices you made at these very pivotal moments stacked up against the choices that other people made, like the entire populace that's been playing this game so far. And see, you know, if you're in line with them or if you're an amoral bastard.
Could be you just married the wrong woman.
Alright. How about fuck you? I guess he decided against saying that. Probably for the best.
You'll have to learn to stop worrying about things you can't control.
Now, as you can see behind us, doesn't look like things are going so hot back in Atlanta. Or, I guess, Hotlanta, I should say. I assure you, this prologue does not last too long.
I'm driving this man once. He was the worst one. He wouldn't stop going on about how he didn't do it. He was an older fella, big soft eyes behind a pair of smart folk glasses. And he just wailing back there. Says it wasn't him. Crying and snotting all over right where you're sitting.
I actually want to check out something quickly. Go to settings, and we will turn on subtitles. If they do indeed exist. Don't want to change the resolution. That would probably mess up Fraps a little bit. Gameplay. Subtitles. Yeah, let's turn subtitles on. So I can talk over this guy a little bit. If I can, you know, maintain my train of thought while he's speaking as well.
Then before long, he starts kicking the back of the seat like a fussy baby on an airplane. And I tell him he's got to stop. But that's government property. And I'll be forced to zap him otherwise.
Don't tase me,
So
bro!
he stops, and having exhausted all his options, he starts crying out for his mama. Mama! It's all a big
Mama
mistake.
just
It
killed a
wasn't me."
man. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Man.
Man.
Man? Not even close. They caught the fucker red-handed, stabbing his wife, cutting her up as the boys came through the door. He sits in my car screaming bloody murder that it wasn't him. I think he actually believed it himself. It goes to show, people will up and go mad when they believe their life is over.
So I believe we're coming up to kind of a pivotal moment here. Oh god, watch out for the zombie in the middle of the road.
As if I do say so. This other town.
I think I made the right decision with respect to my dialogue there. Alright, so now is basically where the shit hits the fan. And you can see like that prologue was probably, what, like 3 to 4 minutes long? This game doesn't really waste time in getting the story going. This first episode is, you know, standalone $5 or $25 for all 5 episodes. And I would say it clocks in at around 2 hours, maybe slightly over 2 hours. So this is not a game where you're going to be paying $5 and probably playing it for like 10 hours. This is very much like you're buying almost a cinematic experience, almost a movie. And you're sort of playing the movie rather than watching it. And I know that's not going to appeal to a lot of people, but the story here is actually well done. And it's pretty mature and pretty grim, and the choices you make seem to have real consequences. I know I keep saying seem to, that's because I haven't done a second playthrough myself. But very much, the game at least starts with that disclaimer that basically, you know, your choices throughout the game will tailor the experience. So we're playing as Lee here, waking up in the back of this cab, knowing that we are wanted for some kind of murder. And now we get our first kind of, like, direct control.
Hey! Hey, officer! Are you alright? I'm still coming.
Yeah, totally fine. Just a little bit tired.
Officer? That doesn't look good. He wasn't ejected from the car.
What clued you in? Is it the blood streaks, or the fact that he's pale? All of his broken bones. Anyway, we're gonna look around here. I think I have to talk to him, or talk at him one more time.
He's not moving.
Maybe 2 more times. Let's check it one more time.
He must have the handcuff keys on him.
Alright, so we gotta get out of here somehow. Let's move around over here.
Why the hell did he have his gun out?
Oh, here we go. So you can see, like I said, it's not really a point-and-click adventure. It's much more like a Heavy Rain, where we're kind of like looking at contextual clues. And then we'll have some kind of contextual action that we can do as a result of those clues. So like the A button here isn't always kick, depending on what you pointed at. It could be like, give someone a candy bar, or, like turn on the radio. But for here, it's kick. So there's not so much like puzzles in the game. Like I'm really bad at puzzles, as you guys know, but I never really got stuck at a puzzle. It was more just like find the thing you're supposed to interact with.
I need to drag myself out that window.
I can break these cuffs. Yeah, there's not so much puzzles. In like a traditional point-and-click sense, it's more like you get items and it's usually very apparent what you're supposed to do with them. There's no like, I've got to, put the soap in the washing machine and then put the peanut butter in so it causes a fire or something. Like I'm not a game designer. Clearly Telltale is not going to hire me. Similarly, you almost never have like 100%, I shouldn't say almost never, but you rarely have like 100% direct control over your individual. It's not like a, what kind of game would I be describing? Like a first-person shooter, usually your movement is fairly directed. Again, I would like to reiterate that this is more of an interactive narrative, not so much of a game. So we're going to go over here and hopefully search his butt for the or the handcuff keys, as we can see them right there. So we'll go pick these up. Now, it's kind of a running joke in this game that Lee is borderline useless, and as you can see, can barely hold on to these handcuff keys. Now, if you want a fun drinking game, take a shot every time that this guy falls over. It happens probably like 8 times over the course of this game, which again is only about 2 hours long. So we'll do our second handcuff done here.
Officer?
Probably wouldn't have predicted that one happening, eh?
Holy shit!
There are some like genuinely kind of startling moments in this, but I guess that's going to depend largely on your tolerance for horror. I would say I have like an average tolerance for horror, but still there were a couple moments that I was like, that's scary. It's more disturbing. Like the content is disturbing. It's not so much like jump scares like in Amnesia. Well, not that Amnesia is entirely jump scares. It's not entirely jump scares like a shitty horror movie. A lot of it is more psychological, or at least just like brutal choices. So we're just gonna shoot this guy in the face. A little bit awkward using the A button to shoot a gun, but oh well, it works. So we will ruin this dude's skull. One thing I will say about the game is that, graphically it has kind of a cool style, and I've heard a lot of people... Oh, let's just say hello to this little girl first.
Help! Go get someone! There's been a shooting!
Graphically it's got kind of like a cool comic book aesthetic to it, which is kind of nice, but there are times when you can like look at things like the textures on the ground and be like, this doesn't really look so hot. You can tell it's built on like the Telltale engine, which came out 10 years ago. This comic book style kind of lets it hide a lot of its flaws, but if you like look at the graphs and stuff like that, you can tell, yeah, there's one. Take a drink. You can tell that it's aged, let's put it that way. It's built on kind of ancient hardware as far as the gaming industry is concerned. I still think the aesthetic works reasonably well, but there are definitely times, like right there, when you're like, this could be better. Also, weird that this is occasionally... Oh my god, am I about to be killed too? No, okay, this is entirely scripted. I thought maybe I made a mistake. It's weird that the game's hitching up a little bit here, because when I played through it myself, basically, there are occasional graphical glitches, a little bit of, like, a frame rate problem sometimes, or stuttering in between scenes, but I think this is largely because I'm recording with Fraps now. When I was not using Fraps, it worked basically perfectly, apart from a few very, very minor, what I would call, like, graphical stutters. So I'm not sure how much more of this I'm going to play, but I think we should get kind of a feel for the aesthetic, because we haven't really gotten too into things so far. We do know that, like, the zombies, they could look better, right? It's not just me. I've enjoyed this game. I expected to kind of hate it, because I don't normally like adventure games, and of course Jurassic Park was also critically panned, so I expected this to be the same. But no, it actually, I like it, but there are minor complaints I have. I hate complaining about the graphics in an adventure game, but oh well. So we can do a little bit of exploration here. We can look in this treehouse, but I'm not going to bother with that. You guys can take a look at that if you choose to play through the game yourself. Instead, we are just going to drag ourselves up here into this house. So we can look through the glass door, or we can, you know, bang on it, interact with it.
Hello? Anybody home? I need a little help.
Well, it doesn't seem like anybody's home, so let's just slide this baby open. And
Coming
move
in.
inside.
Don't shoot, okay?
Something tells me that is not going to be a problem here. So we'll load into the house here. And hopefully find something to do with about our leg, as it is in pretty dire straits right now.
Or one of them.
Ah, the blue channel, man. All Eiffel 65 all the time.
More help than I do.
Okay, so the first thing we will do is pop open this answering machine here. And I'll just let it talk while I look around here.
Left at 5:43 p.m.
Hey, Sandra. This is Diana. We're still in Savannah. Ed had a little incident with some crazy guy near the hotel, so we had to get him back to the ER and have it checked out. Anyway,
I knew it.
He's not feeling well enough to drive back tonight, so we're staying an extra day. Thanks so much for looking after Clementine,
It's
and I
one hell of a
promise
party
we'll be
here.
back in time before your spring break.
Message 2. Left at 11:19 p.m.
Oh my God, finally. I don't know if you tried to reach us. All the calls are getting dropped. They're not letting us leave and aren't telling us anything about Atlanta. Please, please, just leave the city and take Clementine with you back to Murrieta. I've got to get back to the hospital.
Fork could be useful.
Please let me know that you're safe.
Yeah, the butter drawer, of course.
Message 3. Left at 6:51 a.m.
Clementine, baby. If you can hear this, call the police. That's 911. We love you. We love you. We love you.
Alright, so things are in dire circumstances here. But I'm sure they're fine. What's the worst that could have happened?
Huh? Hello?
You need to be quiet.
Alright, so we can take a look around here. Or we could just go to this dialogue.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. They tried to get me, but I'm hiding until my parents come home.
Dollars to donuts. She's in that treehouse that I chose not to explore earlier. So you can't ask like a young girl a question like how old are you without feeling like a
How
creep.
are you?
8?
Oh yeah.
All alone?
Yes. I don't know where anybody is. How old are you?
I'm, 37.
Well, that's pretty good for his age.
Where are your parents?
They took a trip
Don't
and
slip.
left me with Sandra. They're in Savannah, I think. Where the boats are?
Are you safe?
I'm outside in my treehouse. They can't get in.
That's smart.
See? Can you see me?
So there's kind of a mixture of dialogue like this where you're basically going through all the options in your dialogue wheel to exhaust the potential story. Oh god, one second. Let me deal with this QuickTime event first. All the combat in the game is essentially handled through QuickTime events like this. But it largely works. I mean, I guess it saved them from building like a legitimate combat engine, like making it, oh, come on, dude. Making like a Silent Hill type game, or, you know, God forbid, like an Amy or something. But, yeah, no, I think it works within the context of this game. Basically, these are all like the Witcher 2 events. So we're just going to move our crosshair here. Make sure to continually kick this bitch in the face. And, oh, there we go. Got to mash the A button a little bit here. This is why my right forearm's so much bigger than my left one. Managed to get her away, and if I back up here, I should be able to get the hammer. And then we'll just bash this lady's brains in, basically. Now, this is one of the most, like, cathartic moments of the entire thing. You can actually choose how many times to hit her. Like, I basically just laid into her. It was a really satisfying moment, like, when you hear that crunch and, like, you can't dig the hammer out of her face. Don't mean to sound morbid, it felt very satisfying,
Man.
Doctor.
I there.
But as I was saying, there's a mixture of these like dialogue wheels where you have to exhaust basically all your choices, and
Did you kill
other
it?
ones where you're kind of like set on a path once you go through it. Now again, I'm going to go with different answers that I went through in my first playthrough. It's kind of the nice guy in my first playthrough.
It's okay. I think she was a monster.
No kidding.
I think so too. You've been all by yourself through this?
Yeah, I want my parents to come home now.
I think that might be a little while, you know?
Oh,
Look,
Your parents are dead,
I don't know what
and
happened.
you are the new Batman.
I'll look after you until then.
what should we do now?
Now, you can make two choices here, and when you have more important choices, it seems like the game doesn't give you a timer. So I could take my time here and say, look for help before it gets dark, so we could, possibly encounter the zombies in the daytime, or get out of here once the sun goes down. I went with the light option. That seems way safer. The first time I played through it, let's try the dark option here just to see if things go crazy.
We need to get out of this neighborhood. It's not safe. We're less likely to be seen if we move at night.
My parents might come home.
We won't go far. We'll try to find shelter and come back here with others.
That sounds good. We can hide in my treehouse until then.
It'll be a tough climb with this leg, but
Oh, get over it, you pansy.
let's go. Stay close to me.
Alright, now this is going to be interesting for me. Oh, yeah, they did actually wait until nighttime. Now, again, I'll pause it very quickly. The first time I did this, when I chose the daytime, there's going to be minor spoilers here. Very minor spoilers, I promise. When I chose the daytime option, we basically walked outside, and there was a dude with a car who was like, hey, get in my car and I'll take you to safety. And of course, it wasn't really all that safe, but that's what happened. So I'm interested to see if there's actually real consequences for going out at night as opposed to the day. We shall see, I guess.
Now let's stay quiet. We'll head out to the front yard and follow the road out of the neighborhood.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in uncharted territory here for the first time.
And we'll move as fast as we can.
But it's possible that there might just be pallets swapped. We might encounter the same people, but in the nighttime as opposed to the daytime this time. Even still, that's something. So come out here, open the gate. And interestingly, it seems like a different set of circumstances outside than was there the first time, which is kind of neat. So it looks like maybe there are real consequences. This whole section was not in the last one. I basically, as soon as I opened the gate, I got a scripted event last time. Oh!
I found the bag.
Jesus.
Are we going to die?
Probably.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Really reassuring.
Stay down! Georgia State Patrol!
Dude, he won't listen to that.
I'll come quietly. There's a little girl here.
Alright, so that's the same character we met earlier.
Oh shit, you're not one of those things.
But this state trooper is new, actually. I've never met him before.
Wait, why'd you say you'd come quietly?
I thought I was being arrested.
Oh man, no shit. I'm sorry about that.
Alright, good. He doesn't know my secret.
My name's Sean Green. This is Andre.
Officer Mitchell.
Did you see any of those things? One of them just got our buddy Chet.
That's interesting, because you meet Chet when you do things during the daytime.
I saw a lot in the forest, but that was a while ago.
Yeah, one we're looking for is still in the neighborhood.
Oh shit, you hurt your leg pretty bad. Look, help us find the thing that got our buddy, and we'll take you and your daughter down to my dad's farm to safety. He should be able to fix your leg up too.
I'm not a dad.
Alright, so this is the same dialogue choice we had a little bit earlier. Let's go with ... That's ominous.
A good Samaritan.
See, Sean's a nice guy.
A good Samaritan.
He could have just said,
Whoever you
child
are, let's
molester,
get a
but
move
instead
on.
good Samaritan. And this is a new encounter. I've never seen this before.
Chet!
Yes, indeed it is, and he has seen better days.
Go!
Just pull the trigger, man. I have a feeling that's probably going to come back to haunt him. So basically, based on what these guys are saying, I'm drawing the conclusion that we're probably going to end up on the farm, which is indeed what happens if you go through things in the daytime as well. So there's probably it's like a diamond shape, where occasionally there are divergences, and then it comes back to a point where it can advance the story. Otherwise, I imagine that this game would just be impossible to develop, basically. But I'm just going to follow... Yes, okay, we are indeed going to the farm. So probably at the next dialogue wheel, I will stop the video, because I don't want to ruin too much of the story. Again, if I do a half-hour video, that's potentially a quarter of the story, but, you know, I will say... as we're getting out of this here, actually, I'm just going to go back to the main menu. Yes. So this is The Walking Dead. Really enjoyed the first episode, actually. Played it through, you know, in 2.5 hour long sitting. And I'm not a huge fan of, like, zombie properties in general. I've seen the TV show, and I stopped watching it halfway through the second series because I thought it was kind of starting to suck. You know, don't hate me. But I enjoy this. I think it's a good story, maturely told, and the gameplay is engaging and intriguing, despite the fact that it's not always that hands-on. Like, a lot of it is just kind of, like, going through the motions and taking kind of some obvious quote-unquote puzzles through to their conclusions. But still, really good. The one thing I do want to say is that the distribution for this is weird. Like, on Steam right now, this is available, but as far as I know, it's only available in one $25 package, which is basically like a season pass that will give you access to all 5 episodes when they come out. Whereas on Xbox Live Arcade and PSN, you can buy the episodes individually. You have to buy the first episode to buy subsequent episodes, because that's like the platform that they're going to be distributed on. But you're not necessarily tied to the entire $25 purchase just by buying the first episode. So if you want to just, like, try it out, you're probably better off buying it on the Xbox Live Arcade or PSN. Despite the fact that I've heard there's some kind of graphical hiccups in the 360 version, that would probably be your safest bet, just in case, you know, episodes 2 to 5 end up sucking. But, you know, if you want to play this on PC, the results from the first episode are encouraging. So if you're a fan of this series, or, you know, what you saw here interests you, and you're a fan of games like, you know, Heavy Rain or Indigo Prophecy, this might be right up your alley. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this. Again, expected it to suck, and it didn't. Well, I hope I did a decent job showing off why this game is actually kind of interesting without spoiling too much of it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do Let's Look Ats for later episodes. It depends on how much that would spoil for, you know, previous episodes. But I don't know. I'll continue coverage, perhaps, if, you know, if it's warranted or if it's appropriate. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Definitely, you know, check this out. This is surprisingly interesting. I will see you guys next time.